Hi there, I'm Kathy,
I'm Christy.
and this is the Twin Fusion Show. And today we're talking about the war in Iran, or so-called war in Iran, and what's really going on there. We're clearing up false narratives presented by the MSM globalists and the MAGA defectors because there's just a lot of, false narratives going on and wrong information.
So we have about four, and the first lie is that Iran has decimated the American Navy in the Persian Gulf. That's the biggest joke I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
We have a picture here of the largest Iranian ship being sunk in the Persian Gulf by U.S. forces. They're the one whose navy was completely decimated,
Completely
not ours.
decimated. Yeah.
Quite the
Sitting in the
opposite.
bottom of the Persian Gulf,
Yeah, it's
right?
really funny. We were even looking at ChatGPT yesterday, and we saw that they had debunked the claims that the U.S. Navy ship has been damaged despite Iran's claims to have fired drones, warning missiles and shots against U.S. warships in the Gulf of Oman. So even though they said they were shooting at us, ChatGPT even says there were no
Yeah,
injuries.
yeah,
No, no damage done at all to our
yeah, and
boats.
there's even some false claims about maybe them even getting to shoot at us,
Yeah,
but they were just bloviating,
yeah,
trying to sound tough.
yeah,
And my daughter is actually sitting on the USS George H.W. Bush in the Arabian Sea right now as we speak.
yeah.
And, it is business as usual for them. I mean, the ships are leaving, I mean, the planes are leaving the ships and stuff like that, but everybody else on the ship, there's no damage, there's no shoots, there's no warning, nothing. They're just bored off their minds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's nothing going on
They had a
with
fa
our ships
they had a
anyway.
fake man overboard, I think. A false man
Yeah,
overboard. I think that was the biggest
there
excitement
was a
they had.
light in the water. I mean, it ended
Yeah.
up not being a man overboard, but I mean, yeah, that was it. I mean, no bombings, no nothing. So,
And I thought it was funny she called yesterday and they were all excited because they got to have two beers.
yeah,
Because
because they've been in
they
the
signed the agreement.
yeah,
They're out of the
yeah,
rogue zone, you know.
right. So they gotta have everybody gotta have a couple beers because they've been out there for 3 months solid with no port and not going to any ports or anything. So,
I
it
thought
was
that was
a
pretty
small
funny.
reprieve.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that lie has been debunked that the U.S. military Navy has been having issues. I mean, they did hit some bases in Kuwait and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but the Navy was not touched.
Yeah.
Okay, line number two. Trump is leading us into another quagmire of forever war like Iraq and Kuwait and Afghanistan, and we know that that's not true.
Yeah.
There's been a preliminary peace deal. They call it a memorandum of understanding signed by the U.S. and Iranian officials, supported by all the surrounding Gulf countries.
And
So
they're going back today, aren't they, to where are they going? They're there today, going to another level, signing another level of it,
right, okay.
whatever the next level is.
Right. So the countries in the region really were involved in this. This is really their, Pakistan previously helped mediate ceasefire efforts earlier in the conflict. They were kind of controlling it. So it's not the US and the Western powers coming in and controlling the Persian Gulf and doing regime change or anything else. They want those countries to deal with their region.
Yeah.
And we're just helping it so that they don't have a nuclear bomb and that they're not a terrorist threat to the world.
It's probably been 300 years since that model has happened.
Oh yeah,
Probably
probably.
300
Yeah.
years.
The British
Yeah, the
system.
British
Yeah.
system. Um, this military action has been gamed out for several years by previous generals who worked with Trump to run in 2016.
Yeah.
So this war has been meticulously planned out and executed with precision, with minimal loss of life and infrastructure in Iran.
Right. So this
So
is a pinpointed surgical situation that, like Christy said, they've been gaming it out for a couple decades before they even asked Trump to run. So this isn't Trump unilaterally making all of these decisions.
yeah,
This has been a concerted effort by the generals behind him,
yeah,
and they're the ones who gamed it out. So.
yeah.
The state of Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu, however, have gone rogue and are implementing their own strategy to decimate Iran and counterparts in Lebanon and Syria, Hezbollah and those guys. This has caused many roadblocks to getting a peace deal in the works, and Trump, in so many words, told Netanyahu to back off or that he would be severely dealt with because he's the one causing all the problems.
Yeah. Um, and they don't have the same philosophy that we have. They don't have the same strategy. They're doing kingdom building.
Yeah.
They want
They
to take
do want a regime change, and
they want to take over.
they
They
want the
want to
greater Israel.
yeah,
Yeah.
they've said I saw their leaders on the news today saying they want to decimate Lebanon.
Yeah.
They don't just want to
And they're not planning to stop.
no, they're not planning to
So
stop.
they don't want peace in the Middle East.
So Trump has been trying to rein Netanyahu back because they don't have the same war objectives. And
So line number three.
yeah, line number three is that Trump is a Netanyahu puppet and of Israel Mossad, and that hasn't been the case through this whole thing.
Mm-mm.
He's tried to give Israel a little room when they get bombed to bomb back, but every time they bomb back, they just go crazy. They bomb apartment building. And when Trump even said that, he goes, stop the killing. You don't have to bomb an entire apartment complex to get one
1%.
person,
And that's
you
been their
know?
strategy forever. Um, so they did the strategic strikes on the military and the nuclear infrastructure, but not on civilians.
Yeah,
So there were some civilian attacks, but it wasn't by the U.S.
yeah,
But there's a lot of finger pointing. Nobody knows really who did it. My
yeah,
guess is Mossad, but we don't know. But it
yeah,
was they said it wasn't the U.S., so we'll take
yeah.
that under consideration. Now, word on the street is that the IDF will come under the jurisdiction of the U.S. military. The IDF is the Israeli Defense Force. It's their military. So I think they're thinking about absorbing it so that, they're not a rogue state anymore.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It'd be nice.
We really pay for Israel anyway. Like you said, we pay for all the people that live on the dole there.
Yeah, we
We
pay for all
basically,
the Orthodox Jews that live there. We pay for their medical, which they all get for free. The schools are for free. They can
yeah,
have 12 kids,
and they do.
and they can afford it because
Yeah,
we're paying their way. And
yeah.
it's like we don't need to be doing that anymore
No,
for Israel,
no,
you know.
no.
So
Yeah. So, yeah. Um, what's we got? Okay. Okay, the next one is okay. The next lie is that, oops, back. uh, Okay. Trump is acting alone as some rogue dictator. You want to take that one, Kathy?
yeah, well, Trump has the support of all of the Gulf states during this conflict, all of them, and those who've been affected most by Iran's 40-some-year reign of terror. Who he didn't have support of, though, was the European countries that are supposedly our allies. This is where the unilateral dictator
That's
narrative,
exactly where it
this
came
is where it
from.
came from and
Yeah,
was faithfully repeated by the MSN. So the
that's
European
exactly where it came
countries
from.
are the ones that made Trump the dictator because
Yeah,
they weren't involved in this conflict.
yeah,
And the MSN, like you said, worldwide just
yeah.
ran with it. All of the pundits ran with it. All their paid stooges
Trump's a
ran with
dictator.
it.
And
He's
we've
a
heard so
dictator.
many of
He's
the
not.
libtards in LA just repeat it.
They repeat it, but they're
Over
but they're
and
not
over.
read
But
in. Their people aren't read in. They're not in
yeah,
the military. Like my daughter's in the middle of the ocean and she doesn't even really know what's going on. So
yeah,
how are these guys getting military strategy?
yeah.
The MSN and everybody else. I mean, there have been
But
some leaks in the Trump administration, but
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
You know,
They all think that they know what's going on.
yeah.
They don't. So yeah, last year Trump sold enough arms to the Persian Gulf states to enable them to protect themselves if needed during this conflict, which has been decades in the planning, which proves that this thing has been planned and gamed out
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah. So these guys bought a bunch of, you know, arms and strategic arms and stuff from us last year to prepare for this. So they were read in.
Qatar had a lot
They
of it.
knew,
Yeah.
yeah, Qatar,
UAE,
Dubai,
everybody.
all of
Yeah.
them. Yeah, Bahrain. Bahrain already had a lot,
Pakistan
but
probably too. I don't know, but
maybe
probably.
Pakistan too. But
Yeah.
yeah. So
They're all the main players there.
yeah. So he was getting them ready to defend themselves during this conflict
Yeah.
because they all knew what it was going to be,
Yeah.
and that they would all be free at the end of it.
So what's the real reason Trump and the White Hats went into Iran? Well, we know the above the board reason was to take out a terrorist state and decimate their nuclear capabilities.
Yep. Another one is to get control of the oil markets and get it out of the hand of the criminal banksters in the city of London. Um, the globalists have been using Iran as their terror instrument all over the world for 40 some years. Sudan and Nigeria are two cases in point
Big
of
ones.
big
Yeah.
ones because the Muslims there have killed millions,
Millions.
millions of Christians, and they are all funded by Iran. They're all backed by
Yeah.
Iran. It's all
Yeah.
instigated by Iran.
Yeah. Like in
They are,
Sudan, the Muslims are in the north and the Christians are in the south, and the Muslims come from the north and slaughter the Christians in the south.
yeah.
Like you said,
In Nigeria and the Congo, it's
the
just a
same.
free for all
Yeah.
with them. And like I said, they're funded by Iran. Iran is not a good regime. The regime there is not the Iranian people, but the regime there
It's a
they're
terror
awful
straight up, you know,
all over the world. Not
Trendiago,
just not
Trendiago in the Middle East, you know.
yeah.
Um, so Iran has funded Hezbollah and others, but who's been funding Iran? U.S. presidents have been funding
Yeah.
Iran. such as Barack Obama with his pallets of 1.7 billion in cash.
Yeah, that he was sending to Iran.
Yeah.
The British banks funded, the international hedge funds, the NGOs, oligarchs. They're all funding it because it's their state-sponsored terrorist organization to cause conflict in the world so they can subjugate people and take control of their resources. I mean, the British have been doing this for
300
like
years.
300. I mean, 4 or 5. Like
Since the British East India Tea Company
yeah,
started
exactly.
flying around.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Dutch have been doing it with
In
the
the
Dutch.
15th century.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is 15th century. They started this tactic,
Yeah.
and they've been doing this thuggery ever since. And they've had their puppet people around, and the country of Iran and their leadership
Is the latest.
is the latest
Yeah.
in that
In the
region.
last half century.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in that part of the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what really happened? British Petroleum has controlled Persian oil for over 100 years. They overthrew the Shah and installed
The mullahs
the mullahs
in 79.
in 79 because the Shah was going to nationalize oil production. Then the same thing with Khomeini. They took him out because he was going to nationalize it.
Yeah, and
He didn't
want their
But the British have never
central bank.
The British are the ones who set up the Persian oil 100 years ago, and
Yeah.
they did not want to,
lose hold of
lose
it.
hold of that.
Yeah. So now it's in the hands of the Persian people,
Yeah.
and they'll be able to get
For the first time in 100 years, since the beginning of their oil thing.
yeah.
So, the British banks centered in the city of London have controlled the price of oil for more than a century. They kept control through terrorism in the Persian Gulf and by extracting exorbitant insurance terror premiums by the Lloyd's of London on boats passing through the Persian Gulf. So they would create the terror and then pay the insurance and exact the insurance it was like paying for protection. It's like those,
Yeah.
it's like bandits
Sure.
in Mexico, the mob in
Yeah.
southern Italy.
The Lucchese's and the Gambinos,
Yeah,
it's like it's the same thing
exact same
on
thing.
a large scale. These
Yeah.
are like the big criminals.
Yeah.
These are like the global national, multinational criminals.
Yeah. Same
So-
old, same old.
So Trump systematically decimated the city of London's control of Persian oil, global oil prices, and traffic in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. This created an open market for oil pricing and trade. So there's not a bunch of goons in the city of London deciding on what the oil price is going to be
Yeah.
that day, which is a first time in
in
history.
100 years.
So now
Oh, yeah.
now it's an open
In
market,
oil history.
and it will be traded,
Yeah.
by by the market
Mhm.
forces.
Yeah.
There's an interesting side note. I mean, the Lloyd's of London dropped insurance on the boat stranded in the Strait of Hormuz, the terror premiums that they had on the
They
books in
dropped
that
it.
area. They
That's
dropped it
interesting.
off the people that were stranded there, and they had because they didn't like what the U.S. was doing. Well, Trump kind of outwitted them and went to the Treasury Secretary and said, "Hey, can we insure these guys?" And he goes, yeah. So now our U.S. Treasury is insuring these guys, and Lloyd's of London, who's
Is
been
out.
doing this for 300 years, are out, man.
Yeah.
They have, and
Yeah.
there's not going to be terror, so they're not gonna
Ew.
get their terror premiums,
Yeah.
which is great.
It is such a lovely day. We love it when the banksters go down.
Yeah.
It's our favorite thing. Besides when Lucifer goes down.
hmm
That's my first favorite thing.
Okay. So what do the Persian people really think? We know the Arab countries on the Gulf are happy. They're with us, and they're coming together and discussing and rebuilding their countries together now that this terrorism threat is almost over.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to really rebuild.
Yeah.
So the mainstream media would have you believe that the Persians were divided in their opinion of U.S. intervention in Iran. But the people, I mean, not the people, maybe some of the politicians, but the people, nothing could be further from the truth.
Yeah. They're almost unilaterally for it.
Happy. Yeah.
So we have close Persian friends, Angelinos and people from Orange County most of them hate Donald Trump. They think he's
Not most of them, but our friends
do.
Our friends do.
they think he's a jerk. They hate his policy.
They don't like his domestic policy.
Yeah,
But now they love his foreign policy.
Yeah.
Because he brought the military in to take out the terrorist regime that had been plaguing them for 47 years, and most of them came like right after the revolution. The revolution.
Our friends did. Our friends
Yeah,
did.
they came
We were
out. I
little
mean, they went
kids,
they
but
went to Europe first and then came here,
yeah.
but they left Iran because they had to. So the people that could get out got out because they were just murdering people right and left and clamping everything down. The women all had to wear hijabs again, and it was just very
Yeah.
oppressive.
Our friend Hatosa told us how they went from a free country and then when they brought the mullahs in, they started instilling like more regulations,
Regulations,
more st
more
like
Sharia law.
the girls have to wear dresses. So everyone's like, okay, they can wear dresses. Then they said they can't wear makeup, and they're like, oh, okay, if they can't wear makeup, okay, we can do that. And then they said
You have to wear head
you had to
coverings.
wear
And
careful, and then they said, well, if you wear makeup, they have to take it off with acid, and it just kept getting worse and
like
worse and worse.
really awful
Yeah,
stuff, like horrible
horrible
stuff.
stuff.
So I mean,
I mean, she
everybody.
lived through that. Our friend Hatosa lived through that.
Yeah. So
So
anybody, like people that could get out, got out.
yeah,
The people that were wealthy, like some of the poor people couldn't get out, but
yeah,
then there's a lot of people that stayed. They still have relatives there that, and they want, and they're hopeful.
yeah.
You know,
That's the
they're like
thing.
the what the Persian people really are is hopeful. When Khomeini died, there was like dancing in the streets when
Yeah,
they announced that he was gone, dancing in the streets.
yeah.
And
And the
then
Persians here too.
the Persians here too. And now our Persian friends are all hopeful and want to go back and help rebuild Iran. And that's what this is about. This isn't
It
about,
makes me want to cry.
yeah,
I really
but
do.
it's not about going in. Trump never wanted to go in to do a regime change. He wanted to take out that terrorism, get everything out of the hands of the city of London, and give the countries back to their people so they can start building their own countries back up.
Yeah,
It wasn't to take out infrastructure, to take out unnecessary people. I mean, they took out necessary, military
targets.
sites and things like that,
Yeah.
and their nuclear program or
I don't think
whatever.
they didn't burn bridges. I mean, Trump said if they don't come to agreement, he was going to start going after bridges and power plants and stuff like that. But he didn't do any of that infrastructure because really his heart was to rebuild the country.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to have to take all that
No,
stuff
because
out because then the people couldn't live well.
see, the thing with the
They're taking
globalist
the time.
system is they want to just keep everybody under their power. But with the American system, which Trump is purporting, which Lincoln, McKinley, and all those guys did, is to build up other countries so that they're strong and so that we can have a good trade system
Strong
with
competitors.
strong
Yeah.
competitors and strong nations. So it's not about decimating everybody so that they can control everything,
Yeah.
like the British and the British,
System.
colonial system, which then turned into the globalist system that
Yeah.
we have now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's all we wanted to talk about today.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We've just heard so much flack. I hear from my kids who are millennials, and they're getting wrong information from their news sources, and it's just like, okay, we got to just set the record straight for some of
Yeah.
this stuff.
So these kids. Yeah. And
Okay.
adults too.
Yeah.
Can't believe how many people are believing this garbage. But anyway, so
Okay.
Lord, we ask that you just give people the information that they need and show them what's really going on. And we thank you, Lord, that and hopefully by watching these peace talks progress, people will finally get a clue
About what's really going
what's
on.
really going on.
Yeah. All right, Grace. Thanks so much. Have a great day.